Morning, folks. Welcome to the Joey Show. I'm Joey Avery. We have an absolutely fantastic episode for you today, and I want to start with a piece of advice. Advice that I think is important, advice that I think is not heeded in our society enough, advice that you can take into your own life to be happier. Stop judging other people's relationships. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know them. You're not in their relationship. It doesn't bring you on a higher spiritual plane. It does not help you. It causes strife for you and for them. You should never judge other people's relationships. That being said, that is what we're going to do for a lot of the show today, folks. We have a great show lined up. Now, there is a cosmic throuple out there that you just need to hear about. Again, we're going to approach this scenario from a place of peace and love. We come from a place of peace and love. We come from a place of light and joy. We come from a place of complete understanding. We come from a place of fairness and no judgment. But we're going to do a little bit of judging today. I think that's important. I think sometimes we're allowed to do that, and when we do it, we're going to make it fun. We're going to make it fun. Yes, in the back half of the show, we'll cover some news stories. We've got the fallout from Biden's cancer. We've got Trump's Golden Dome. We have all these things, but I want to start with the cosmic throuple. What can we learn from this? Now, you might need a little bit of background on our main character here. How many of you in the class, you can raise your hand, know of a man by the name of Aubrey Marcus? Yes, in the back, Susie, you do. You fucked him? I'm just kidding. Look, if you don't know who he is, Aubrey Marcus has a podcast, but they'll give those out to anybody these days. Am I right, folks? Play a cymbal or something. He has a podcast, but mainly he is known as Joe Rogan's main business partner in a business called Onnit, a supplement business, a wellness. I believe it bills itself as a human optimization website. They sell, I've purchased things from it. Pre-AI days, I would buy any supplement. I wouldn't even look it up. I would just, if someone said, hey, this is good, and I liked how that person thought and thought that they were good on a bunch of other issues, I would just go, well, that sounds good because I'm in college and daddy wants an edge. Brick me up. What pill does that do? But Rogan would talk about it a lot, and it was like this way to get a little edge mentally without doing something like Adderall, which, as we know, is meth. But also, the thing about meth is it does scientifically work. Meth. It's for breakfast. Is that what you're using the spoon for? Eventually, yes. So initially that's how I found out about him. But in addition to being a man who sells supplements, he is, I believe he calls it a psychonaut. He likes to go on mystical adventures. He is a man of ayahuasca, a man of ceremonies, a man who communes with the many gods of the Egypt and the South America, the different gods, not the Kansas god. I don't know if you can meet the Kansas god through ayahuasca. I personally believe, of course, that when you bust open a door to a different dimension, you can always take a peek in, and maybe that version of God that you're seeing is just one whole thing, and then you come back and try to describe it, and then, of course, language is imperfect, and we all get lost in the words because we're trying to describe things that we can't totally describe because they're beyond us, but they are pointing to the fact that there's something more. But it would be funny to blast ayahuasca, and you have just like the straight-up Christian God who's just like posted up there and is like, dude, stop being fucking gay, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry for saying that about my son. But you guys got to stop blowing each other's backs out because daddy said so. That would be a crazy ayahuasca trip. But who knows? When you talk to God, people hear some weird things. So Aubrey is friends with Joe Rogan. He is one of Aaron Rodgers' best friends. And has gone on mystical journeys with him. I belong to high society. I was in a luxury box at a Packers game with a former guest of this podcast, and I looked in the box next to me because we were right next to Aaron Rodgers' box, and there was Aubrey wearing the sort of beautiful necklaces that adorn the white men who have gone to do ayahuasca in South America. You have to get a necklace that comes with the journey. It's how you can let people know what the fuck is up. He's a huge proponent of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the U.S. government's answer to the question, let's try this out, I guess. And so he travels in high circles, and he has some high circles, and he has some interesting thoughts and connections. Now, none more interesting sometimes than his relationships, and this is where we do what we do very well on this show. We're going to get into some messy bitch drama with relationships that we don't have a personal connection with. Can we do that? Can you indulge me? Can you allow me to judge a little bit? Because he initially was in a polyamorous relationship, and like people in his industry do, he was writing books and podcasting and kind of discussing the whole thing. Some would call it monetizing, other would call it sharing, and kind of making a point about it. And when you go out and say like, hey, I'm poly and I'm going to stand for this, you catch a lot of shit, and I'll give him credit for standing on business. But then, as most poly relationships do, it didn't last. And he met another girl, he married her, and he was like, well, now we're married, we're monogamous, blah, blah, blah. Enter a new podcast that has dropped. Ladies and gentlemen, a second podcast has hit the towers. His monogamous marriage has come with a light twist, and I want to share it with you on the off chance you didn't listen to this relatively obscure yet more popular than my podcast about someone's relationship. I want to share it with you because I think it's interesting. And I think, and I don't know where you're coming from, where you're at, what the fuck you do when you get down to business. Hey, maybe it's going to work for you. I'm not here to cast judgment on anybody. I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum. I'm not here to poo anyone's poo. Not going to poo-poo that. We're going to watch some clips with an open heart and an open mind and consider if something new is about to bless society.
But I am here with my beloved wife, Ilana, and we're also here with beloved Alana, who is a part of our relationship constellation and shares a deep love with both myself and Vilana. And we're also here with my beloved and esteemed teacher, Rebbe, Dr. Mark Gaffney, who's helped us navigate.
Okay. Throuple up. Throuple up. Is that a Kendrick Lamar song? Throuple up. I'll bring that bitch and I'm gonna fuck her up. So we have now the concept of a relationship constellation. This is not the constellation that I had on my ceiling when I went to bed as a child. When I went to bed as a child, there was the Big Dipper and there was the Little Dipper. There wasn't whatever the fuck they were dipping into. Yeah, I mean, y'all remember those stars. If you didn't have, and I don't want to trigger anybody, if you didn't have glow-in-the-dark stars in constellations on your ceiling and walls that you could look at as a child, your parents didn't love you. And that's okay if your parents didn't love you. This is a safe space here at the Joey Show. We stand the 12. Hunty B, Michael, Sam, the homies. We stand the 12. We love you. We love you. But they might not have, or potentially your father was Andrew Huberman, and he wouldn't let you have the constellation in your bedroom because it could disrupt your REM sleep, because it's light. You don't want to fuck up your protocols. You don't want to fuck up your sunlight. You don't want to do any of that. So there are options here. We're open-minded here at the Joey Show, and we're open-minded about the relationship constellation. Now, it's interesting because he was with the other woman, and she was like, no, this has to be monogamous, but, my boy cannot be contained. Raining threes from the outside. John Stockton, Karl Malone, putting the I in jazz. That's right, the Utah Jizz. And it is Utah with these extra women involved. Let's see, what do we want to call it?
We've given this a name. We're calling it radical monogamy in the field of erotic mystics. Lifelong, committed relationship, but not in the classical monogamous sense. It's an expanded monogamy of deep exclusivity between Aubrey and Vi. And then there's going to be a new goddess who will step into the field.
Yes! Radical monogamy in the field of erotic mystics. Does that not sound like a WNBA team for real? Are the erotic mystics a team? WNBA Mystics. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, that's because they are a team. Washington Mystics. Oh, they're playing the Golden State Valkyries. Maybe they'll all fuck after if Aubrey has his way. You're talking about ratings. So I just want to stop right here because I think the naming and branding of it, look, he's going to face a lot of pushback here. He is, because a lot of people are not erotic mystics. You do a podcast for a bunch of fucking normal idiots, for a bunch of celibate dolts, okay? And they're not even erotic mystics. How are they supposed to understand your radical monogamy? I mean, you're begging to be misunderstood. Now, my third eye and third hole remain open at all times for a third person. That's what being an erotic mystic means. Eye, hole, third person. Why is this other guy here? Which is what's crazy to me. They go through this podcast, and I listened to the whole thing, okay? And I will say, in fairness, they start off with a solid premise, which is that, like, you know, a lot of marriages, monogamous marriages, end up broken. There is divorce. There is infidelity. You've probably experienced some form of it in your own life, a friend or a family member in some people's case, or whatever. You've and people aren't perfect, and that is fair. They go through the example of, like, this guy's talking about watching a debate, and it's like Clinton and Trump and Anthony Weiner, and everyone's in a room, and it's like, these are our heroes, and clearly they're not doing a great job. Those are fair points. But is this a fair point too, is the other question. Just because you've identified a problem doesn't necessarily mean this is the ideal solution, because when you watch the entire podcast, and I didn't pull a lot of clips of this, but when you watch the entire podcast, a lot of it is his wife basically admitting how horrible it was for her and how she had to get over it, basically. And it's not for me to say, but it felt like she's getting fucked, and we all know that's true. Am I right? By both. Am I right? Simultaneously. Let's be mature about this. Calm down. You guys need to calm down. You guys are being sick little creeps, okay? And you need to calm down, because you're not being erotic mystics. So it's hard for me to even try to explain this kind of high-level concept of bringing a younger girl that you're interested in into your marriage and getting your wife to agree with it. And the reason that I'm having trouble describing that to you is because you're not an erotic mystic, and you need to look in the mirror and think about that. And think about it and ask yourself, why not? Why am I, what if you're neither? Could you imagine not being a mystic or erotic? Get a grip, folks. Get a grip. So here's a little taste of kind of putting a bow on what his wife was talking about during a lot of it. And she says that she is happy. I'm not here to make a value judgment on that, but I did think this was kind of poignant.
You know, I think that importance, for me, there's been so many different cycles of our relationships where there have been big deaths of the life that I imagined for myself, or, what my small self would deem as comfortable. And I've really given the space to grieve those parts of myself. And in one of the more recent ones, with that part that I made contact with, of the part of me that imagines that I could be happy in a just total monogamous relationship, through my unique sacrifice, I grieved that part of me because it deserved that love and honor, like really. And in that process, I just hugged myself, and what was coming through was like, I know this isn't what you wanted, but it's what you need. And
woo! Fuck. Convincing your wife that it's her small self that didn't want you to bring a third babe into the relationship who's younger is next level Riz, mystical Riz, erotic, mystical Riz. Now, I do want to give her credit here. She is talking about working through some real emotions and honoring those things and moving into a new place and making a sacrifice for her husband. And as they talk through it sounds like they've been fighting a lot about this, as you can imagine, but thank God they have a third coach to tell them fucking yes, dude, just get it done, do it right. So I do want to give everyone here credit for, they talk a lot about trying to live in their truth and trying to, basically, they're all doing something that's suboptimal and fighting a lot of signs that are saying that, but through my dog's Riz and also the plant medicines, they're finding a way to rip the thruppy. And that is, at the very least, impressive. It is impressive, and they seem to be working on it. And I will not say that they're not working on it. Now, there was a part here that I found to be relatively alarming, because I think it's a difficult situation for everybody. The third in the mix here. Let's just show her a little bit, because I imagine you're curious before we go into what I was just going to say. She was talking a little bit about the sacrifices she's had to make. Like, she would usually want to be in a relationship where she gets to sleep in the bed with somebody, but that's not always the case. Let's take a peek at some of her sacrifices as well.
That I love and love to be loved is like very full on and very intimately and kind of consistently. And obviously within our constellation, there's different availability. And so, one of
get a doodle going.
One of the specific challenges that came up for me was, going to sleep most nights by myself, and just like these pieces of desiring for these moments of life that, attribute to a certain level of intimacy that you do have in more of a normal partnered context.
This dude made so much money off supplements that he can pull this off. Now, they say we'd be doing it no matter what, but come on now. Are you doing that for a shift manager at Arby's? Be truthful. Are you dating a married, attractive young woman? Are you sleeping on the couch in the loft space of the Arby's? Not talking McDonald's. McDonald's is a fine establishment. Arby's shift manager who's there in bed with his wife going to Pound Town because it's their night on the fuck doodle. Are you sleeping on the bed, let's be honest, on the stained mattress in the foyer, waiting for his beef and cheddar? Yeah, he has the meats. We know. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. Money matters. Money matters, dude. This guy has a low level, beautiful cult. A low level, yet beautiful cult. Who knew that the hippies would be the rich in the field of potentially incorrect science? Radical monogamy in the field of, are we sure that works? Are we sure it works? Again, peace and love and respect. I hope to one day swing a kettlebell with this man and talk about what it all means and learn about the riz that it takes to do this at a high level. I would even do ayahuasca with him, although I don't know. He might try to fuck me. I don't know. And the problem is his wife does this, like, she does this sound bath thing where they're doing sound healing and they're just kind of rubbing the mortar and pestle like people who are about to make avocados. It's like, can I meet God once or twice without changing my personality? I have to become a fucking human wind chime just to commune with the spirits every once in a while and make sure I'm on the right path. But I worry about this because the spirits give you interesting advice at times. I thought this was interesting.
We're in the dark, and Alana and Vi are in there, and I receive a message as clear as any message I've ever received, and it felt to me coming through the voice of Isis. She didn't announce herself, but that was implicit in my understanding, in this almost telekinetic understanding.
We got rid of them.
And it says, you need to have children with both of them. And I go, excuse me? Like, what? And then the voice repeated itself. And I go, what? Like,
oh, Mother of God. Why is God always telling the boys to fuck and impregnate everybody? Why he do that all the time? Why is God always like, you gotta fuck her and her daughter and sister? That's what he seems to do. That's what he seems to do. I'm not fully up to date on the whole Mormon thing, but I feel like that's what it's predicated on. You got to spread the seed, dude. Ancient African tribes, they're communing with the gods. You got to fuck all these chicks. Less savory example, David Koresh. That was his whole thing. He went out to Waco. He was like, dude, I am love. I am light. I have a new way. I have a direct source. I speak to God, and God keeps telling me to fuck all these chicks. Why is God so sick? Is a question that I ask myself. Why is God so sick? God was telling the girl, like, I don't think you want that. And she was like, let's move on. And then God was like, you right. Get calmed in. That's great. That's so interesting. That's so either. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a pastor. But either potentially, it's two options. I mean, either God is like, boys, get the fuck out there. Why do you think I gave you this sex drive and this desire? Go fucking get it in. But then some people, Kansas God people, read the text and were like, no, dude, God's actually saying that that's a base desire from the previous gods and spirits. And this God's saying you got to fucking clean it up, dude. And that if you walk in my light, then you'll be different. Or potentially it is also possible that what we experience when we commune with the universe in different ways is like archetypes and beautiful imaginations and things that actually communicate with our own deep subconscious, which does speak in true ways about some of our most base human desires, of course, one of which is to procreate. And the man with all the seed is going to be told, go spread it out there. But God being like, dude, your wife is sick. Keep that on lock. Absolute babe. Totally love what she's doing with the sound bowls. Also, snag up a youngin'. Spray inside your ting. That's crazy, dude. And he was told that in an Egyptian temple. So it could be true. It could be true. Let's see what the fucking doctor has to say.
Window on Friday morning, there would be like 50 Romanian men who would be lining up, who were working in Great Britain, who are sending money back to their families, right? And, whenever I see kind of the demonization of men, I think of those men, kind of working like 17 hours a day. And that was their devotion. That was their sacrifice. And it was gorgeous and it was beautiful. And for those men, that model was their stunning and beautiful model. And I am on my knees in devotion to that beauty, just like I'm on my knees in devotion to your beauty. There's not one path up the mountain. And I would just ask, just so tenderly, Ab, with Vailana, with Alana, that people give up being threatened as you listen. There's no sense that you should be doing this or that this is better than anything you're doing, but there is a demand here. There is an invitation, which is whatever your authenticity is, whatever your integrity is, right, on your unique path, for your unique risk, for your unique sacrifice, don't compromise.
To thine own self be true.
Right, really to thine own self be true and live.
That's the problem there is it didn't feel like his wife was doing that. Again, speaking out of turn. But it does sound like they have a beautiful relationship constellation, and I am happy for them. But like the thing is, if I want to be true to myself, I need to be able to spend 25 to 30 minutes shitting on it in my podcast. That is my truth. Like, I'm not threatened by it. I think it's amazing. I want his balls as empty as possible. Although the 3 ways were not enough, he needs to now have children with these ladies. He needs to form a nice little compound. God, I should have gotten into supplement sales so much earlier. Fuck. Shit. But hey, look, I'm happy for them and I'm happy for me because I enjoy this. I want to follow this journey. I want like betting odds. Like I want to be able to open my FanDuel app and have an over-under on how long this works for them, or as they would put it, how long the 3 of them are able to march together in radical monogamy amongst erotic mystics. If one of them does not bear him a son, will she be beheaded? These are questions. These are questions I'm allowed to ask him. That is my truth. I don't personally see the connection between Romanian men who are working in a different country and sending money home to their wife and family to eventually return to, and a rich guy who's taken 2 babes at once on erotic adventures to Plowtown for short. But I'm not a doctor. And this guy is a doctor. Doctor of what? I don't know. I don't know what he's a doctor of. Dr. Love? I don't know. He mentioned spending time in Mill Valley in Northern California, just outside of San Francisco. And I said, yes. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. This is the type of guy who puts hiking sticks on top of his Subaru to go out for walks. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a very specific type of person. And I envy the type of bookcase that this person has. I would love to have more globes and artifacts from I assume Africa and books that I've read, and then writings, and always be working on some manuscript that no one reads it. Make a video essay. It's YouTube or bust now, you fucking dolt. Respectfully. But hey, whatever. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for everyone's relationship constellation, whether yours is with multiple people, an individual, just to thine own self be true. Speaking of relationship constellations, Diddy! Hot in the news. We have an article here. I don't want to spend a lot of time here. I don't really get into these celebrity sex things. They're less fun to me than because whatever's happening in this one that we just dissected here for a while, that I would imagine Aaron Rodgers has had coitus with all of them. I would have to imagine. There's no way Aaron Rodgers has not fucked all 3 of these people. I'll be goddamned. Okay? He was just ripping it doggy. That's why he fucking tired out his Achilles. I don't know. But I support everybody. This is a fun sex talk for me. That I like. The dark stuff, it's dark. I don't like it. I'm not an expert in this, but I am an expert in a good headline when I see one. Sean Diddy Combs trial takeaways Cassie Ventura's mother, a former assistant, and a male escort named The Punisher testify in sex trafficking case. Okay. Great branding. Is The Punisher an erotic mystic? Probably not. I feel like when you're fucking for money, it probably becomes a bit of a job. It's probably hard to get into that real, like, spiritual. It's less of a, like, and more of a, like, you know what I mean? And those are different things. There's a very different orgasm, whether you're just gripping the back of someone's skull and staring directly into their soul and just, and then just like, like those are different forms of sex. And Diddy, I think, in his relationship constellation, and no one is saying he wasn't being true to his self. Might have been a little bit lower frequency, though. Was the third eye open? No. Were the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh holes open? Yes. Former assistant recalls stocking hotel rooms with drugs and baby oil. David James, an assistant for Combs from 2007 to 2009, returned to the witness stand for his second day of testimony. James told the court that he would stock hotel rooms with items for Combs before his arrival. They included a Louis Vuitton bag containing 25 to 30 pill bottles, drugs such as ecstasy and Percocet, baby oil, lubricant, condoms, and $10,000 cash. For some supplies like skincare products, James was reimbursed by Bad Boy Entertainment, but for others such as baby oil and condoms, he was reimbursed by Combs' security staff, who would pay him in cash out of a Louis V bag. He said a drug dealer named One Stop would often bring drugs to Combs. I mean, to get that sort of help these days, like, we keep assuming that AI is going to take over every job. Oh, AI can be your trainer. AI can be your nutritionist. AI is not perfect. You might show up to the AI can't stock a hotel with 30. Where's it going to get 30 pill bottles of ecstasy, baby oil? And it would fuck it up, too. You get to the hotel. Let's say it could. Let's say it gets to the point where they have, like, robots and they can do things. And you're like, I'm trying to have a freak off, ChatGPT. The fuck? And then ChatGPT pulls up and it's like, here are your 40 tons of baby powder. And you're like, bruh. Who am I supposed to fuck with all this baby powder? What sort of absolute, just raging waters wetness factory would I need powder to get the pussy drier for? Who the fuck you think I is? ChatGPT? We need the oil, not the powder. What are we even doing? There are fun things that come out of it. Like, apparently one of Diddy's things was that he would pay these escorts, these male escorts. He was probably a boon to the male escort industry, I'd have to imagine. I can't believe that the male escort industry is doing as well. Diddy was probably keeping a lot of these guys afloat. Job creator, and no one wants to talk about that part of the equation, but that's fine. What do you think the Punisher's up to now? He's taking gigs talking in court. Bitch, this ain't SVU. Get the fucking... All right, that's rude. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Apparently, he would, like, pay these guys to fuck his girl. Is that what male escorts are doing? Is it mostly guys paying other guys to just go to Pound Town on their girl so that they can watch? And then they pay him to be like, now get the fuck out of here. It's my turn. It's my turn, Punisher. You want to follow the Punisher? Maybe you're trying to tire her out. I don't really know. Apparently, what he liked was he would say, finish up inside my girl. And then they'd go into a separate room. And then if that guy didn't finish up inside his girl, he'd be like, what the fuck? Aren't you a professional? I came to this Italian restaurant. I want that red sauce, motherfucker. That's not a spicy meatball. Not a spicy meatball at all. Mamma mia. He'd be twirling his fork. Give me that Alfredo. Give me that cream sauce. I want my lady fingers covered in cream. That's a tiramisu, huh? Yeah, mamma mia. Yeah, Tony Soprano, you woke up this morning and there's no cum in my wife. What's going on, Punisher? Woke up this morning, there's no cum inside. So apparently, he was sourcing this cum for a very specific purpose. He liked her to pull it out of the box and rub it on his nipples. Well, that's no good at all. That's not good behavior at all. That's not bad boy entertainment. That's, you've been a bad boy entertainment. That's weird. But he's not on trial for being weird, and that's going to be a problem. He's on trial for sex trafficking, which is going to be hard, because I'm pretty sure his defense was like, yeah, he's a piece of shit, and he probably hit her. We concede. And then, but like, he didn't traffic. He didn't make the Punisher drive. He didn't make the Punisher go over state lines. He never said, hey, Punisher, get in the van. You're coming in my girl in New Mexico. Gonna be Albuquerque. He didn't say that. He did not go, I want that Walter Off-White spread on my nippies. The judges are saying he did not. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be as hard as P. Diddy with another man's cum on his nipples. That's about as hard as it is. But hey, to thine own self be true. And we respect his relationship constellation and whatever works for him. Everyone's getting into weird relationships these days. We've covered Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson's relationship on each of the last, who the fuck knows at this point, 4 or 5 episodes. We've written 2 reality scripts for it. We have gone on campus at UNC. We've talked to frat boys about it. I keep trying to not discuss it because I don't wanna anymore. It's getting sad. And yet there is a Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson update that, as one of the premier venues reporting on this, we do have to bring to you. Apparently, Hard Knocks wanted to do a UNC season, which, as you can imagine, at the college ranks, boy, would that be interesting. You can build some star power. You can get these athletes who now can do NIL deals. They could become celebrities. They could immediately make money on that. That would make UNC a much more attractive location than it already is. Good idea. Even if it fucks up the season in the Bill Belichick way a little bit, it's kind of, in the new college sleazy recruiting world, it's kind of a vibe. They didn't do it at UNC because Jordan Hudson demanded creative control over Hard Knocks, a franchise that is from HBO. Okay? That's not the human box office. That's Diddy. No. HBO, home box office. This is one of the premier they tape with the NFL franchises. No, they don't get creative control. We trust Hard Knocks. She wanted creative control and ownership of the show. Oh, what are we doing, milady? What are we doing? Milady, you've done a good job. You've done a good job getting to where you are. You understand when you have leverage. You use that box to out-leverage an old, rich man. Congratulations, game respects game. I might do the same thing. I don't know. I'm not you. Except for the fact that we are all one. But you have started to overplay your hand. You're fucking up. You're fucking up. You're fucking up, Jordan. Stop it. Now, I thought we've done a lot for this couple, and they're on the rocks now. Okay? Like, they're doing fine. But the world is rooting against them because she's doing these things, and the fever pitch is building, and there's a new story every week, and this is getting serious. But I do believe it's a love story that deserves to be fought for. And as such, I have written them a love song. A song about their romance. It's an against all odds ballad. It's about what things could be, okay? And I believe in them. I just need her to cut it out so they can make it, because I'm not talking shit. I love love. Yes, I hate when we lose one of the great football minds to a series of insane decisions. Yes, I hate that. And yes, I hate when we lose the boys to a crazy girl. Yes, I hate that. It's okay. Trying to believe. This episode is about relationship constellations. And we love love in this house. We love love at the 12. We love Hunter Biden as much as we love Michael Sam. So here's a ballad for Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson.
This song goes out to a very special couple, one for whom nobody believes. But whether he's down 28-3 or he's up to 52 while she's 3, there's always a way to come back.
He was a football coach who never liked talking to the press, and she was a fetus who wanted some real estate. Star-crossed lovers divided by a uterus and time. Well, they'd meet in chapel hill and find their way to a chapel. Oh, but the world didn't trust Bill's hips while they thrust. They said he's a common dust while she's just getting wealthy. Oh, but what we couldn't see is that it's a love story, because old money, it seems to love young pussy. Oh, yeah. He was a football coach who never liked talking to the press, and she was a fetus who he put in a white dress. Oh, yeah.
Love. It's love. It's not your place to judge, no matter what your relationship constellation. But here at the Joey Show, we judge all of it. Every relationship, especially ones we don't understand. But that's just watching tape. And if anyone understands that, I think it's Bill.
Beautiful. Beautiful stuff, folks. A beautiful ballad, a beautiful life, and we love love, and we love their love, and we hope they make it. I hope you make it out to some shows on tour, ladies and gentlemen. JoeyAvery.com/live. I'm hitting the old road this weekend. Dallas, June 4th, Sacramento, June 5th to the 7th, San Francisco Punchline Comedy Club, special taping. Tickets are moving fast. Get those now. June 20th to the 22nd, Cleveland, Ohio. Phoenix, June 26th to the 29th. Just add an extra show there. St. Petersburg, Florida, July 11th and 12th. And then into the fall, Springfield, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, Levittown, New York, Charlotte, North Carolina, San Diego, California, Beverly, Massachusetts. JoeyAvery.com/live for those. Get it. All right, folks, slight bit of politics here. Everyone's talking about the whole Biden cancer thing and the Biden health cover-up, and it's not looking great for Democrats on either of those. I guess I'm the only one who wasn't surprised he had cancer. Sure, there are things to talk about. Who knew, when they knew, they hide it from people while he was running. All fair questions, not saying it's not. But when we saw the news, I was like, yeah, I assumed that he had that. I'd assumed he had that to me, the experience was almost exactly the same. Basically, this book came out. Jake Tapper has a book, and it was all about like the depths of the cover-up of his incompetence and what the establishment Democrats were doing and hiding it from the American people, and it all looks very bad, and it's this whole political firestorm. And then they were like, by the way, I have cancer. And to me, that reminded me a lot of the whole Kevin Spacey thing. When people were going at Kevin Spacey and it was like, hey, this guy has been like being very sexually inappropriate. They were Me Tooing him. And Kevin Spacey was like, you got me. I'm gay. Which is still underrated as the greatest move of all time. Didn't work. Was ridiculous. People saw right through it. So fun, though. People being like, you behaved inappropriately and used your power, and you're like, sorry about it. Daddy likes donkers. What? That's just funny to me. That's kind of what this felt like. They're like, we've been covering up Biden's dementia, and he's like, I have cancer. Brakatata. It's not a bad move. Look, I'm not saying that it should have been covered up. I'm not saying that that was the right thing to do. I'm not even saying that the political fallout won't matter. I am saying all of that. I'm also just saying, well played by the Biden family, and we wish him well. Trump tweeted at him and was like, I hope he gets better. And every comment was like, who stole his phone? That hasn't been his normal cadence. The White House official Instagram page has been posting kill videos. They posted a video of them drone striking people in like Somalia. And people were like, did Instagram just show me human beings dying from the White House IG page? It's a weird place to be where it's like, okay, I kind of knew we were doing the drone strikes, but posting it feels classless. But what is class when you're murking someone from the sky? It brings up a lot of questions. The main thing that I found interesting this week out of Trump was the Golden Dome. He wants to finish a project that Ronald Reagan initially wanted to start. The Defense Department realized if we rebrand it gold and sell it to Trump, he'll be absolutely in because Israel has an Iron Dome and we need to have a nicer, much more beautiful one. A big, beautiful Golden Dome like my hair. And yeah, look, I'm not, I've been to the Pentagon, but I'm not a national security expert. It doesn't seem to me like we're in a particular threat of having missiles launched at us because I'm pretty sure we would just absolutely donkey funk anyone who tries that, and they know that. I'm pretty sure. So I'm not sure if this is the most important use of our $500 billion. I know a lot of money goes to defense. A crazy amount of money goes to defense, and not to other things. We're thinking of slashing healthcare to do it. Cuts to Medicare to help fund it a little bit, and it feels a little interesting. China's mad that we're militarizing space, but I don't know. But it does sound fun. That's the flip side. And he understands marketing, and marketing is very important. Sometimes it's important to just be like, that does sound. What, do you not want a Golden Dome? What, do you not want the Golden Dome? So I thought maybe it would be fun to do a Golden Dome infomercial to sell this further to the American. I'm not personally sold, so I feel like we need to sell it. Like someone needs to sell it more. Because right now I don't really feel like it's totally necessary compared to other things that we could spend that on. It's always the easiest thing to just say yes to, and we never say no. I don't really understand. I mean, I don't think like the threats to us have more recently been jumbo jets. It's going to be more internal, negative things. But hey, Let's do a Dome infomercial. Let's see if we can get it done. Introducing the most luxurious, most liberating, most presidential innovation in American history. Trump's Golden Dome. Fellas, have you ever wanted to get head and still be allowed to pee at the same time? Might as well have your cake and drench it too. Why should we only be able to get dome or a golden shower? It makes no fucking sense, honestly, when you think about it. And it's pissing me off. Enter the president, a man who gets it. A man who is making this country great again for patriots like me that want some golden dome for the love of God. Why won't my wife do it?
No, cut. It's a military defense system. It's literally a shield.
What? Who the fuck is gonna shoot a missile at us?
Who's gonna let you pee in their mouth?
I don't know. A nice lady. The fuck you, Greg. You're gay anyway.
How does that even factor in? You're talking about oral.
Trump's Golden Dome, keeping America protected and surprisingly damp. It might not be what you think, but it will be expensive. So there you go. There's our Golden Dome infomercial. One last thing in the realm of politics. Ben of Ben & Jerry's was arrested at a Senate hearing after protesting the war in Gaza. Here's a little video of that.
The witness will suspend. The committee will come to order. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room. Members of the audience are reminded disruptions will not be tolerated. Members of the audience are reminded disruptions will not be permitted while the committee conducts its business. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room. That was a made for C-SPAN moment.
Everyone's looking for content now. Everyone is looking for content now. I do think that that's fair. He is basically saying that Congress is... he said that Congress is paying to bomb poor kids in Gaza and paying it for it by kicking poor kids off Medicaid in the U.S. Well, you know, it's kind of hard to not see the point there. This is interesting, though. It's an interesting move for an ice cream brand. I know that's always been their thing. They're very into social justice. I was caught between watching this clip this week and then watching Bernie Sanders on the Flagrant podcast, and there's some sort of interesting crunchy riz that balding old dudes from Vermont have. This white liberal kind of shoulder pads on the jacket, like just a physique that says, I've been in the library reading Trotsky. That it kind of works. I don't know what it is. It works. Is this type of person going to go extinct? Is a question that I have in the turkey hair plugs era. Do you get the old wise kind of lefty guy? Like, does that guy exist? That's a certain archetype. It's a type of person showing up, getting content. Quite frankly, getting content in Congress. Getting content in Is this what Chad and JT are going to end up doing? They'll start a brand. We love Chad and JT. They'll start a brand and then promote it by like actually eventually having JT's run for office. We endorsed him here on this program. We've had him on the pod. Is this the end for they'll start they'll go from advocating for house parties to advocating for affordable housing? Is that the arc for them? Because I feel like as people get older, they get more political. Like no matter what, whether you're in entertainment or not, like people just get old and you just eventually, I think it's once people your age start running shit. Like when you're young, you're like, hey man, I'm just going to pay taxes. I'm going to do whatever. You know, I don't care. It's not my problem. I'm gonna focus on my grind. I'm gonna do whatever. Like that don't matter to me, dog. You know, I'm gonna do crypto in Miami, dog. But you're just focused on your shit. You're like, it doesn't matter. It's beyond me. I'm not into it. It's not an interest of mine. And then you get older and you're like, these fucking idiots, these people my age or younger that I've listened to and heard their reasoning, they are dumb. I think it's a mix of that and all of your friends having kids so you don't have as much fun to go have. So you fill that time, the dead space in your brain with entertainment. And the older you get, it gets increasingly political because you're like, I should know what's going on. I'm a serious individual. Maybe I have children too. Maybe I want to know what's going to happen next. You just become more and more political. And I'm not saying political is a bad thing. We're discussing it right now on the program. But are we going to have crunchy Vermont bald guy with strong principles? I don't know. I don't know if that happens with hair plugs. I feel like that could change everything. Imagine Bernie Sanders with a full head of hair. The MPD, the fucking halo, the Padre, where you just have the hair around the outside. Will that keep happening? It confers either a wisdom or a lostness, depending on how you're rocking it. And who knows? Who knows? Couldn't be me. I shave the sides of my head. I do the exact opposite. Also notice that art history is beating finance as a major. Think about that. College majors with the best and worst job prospects. Art history beats finance. Why do we think that could possibly be? People are probably losing their minds over this. People see this and they go, what? All these stupid degrees I was making fun of? Art history, what are you contributing to society? Well, spoiler alert, finance, what are you contributing to society? But art history, aside from getting that money, art history people, it's not like there are that many art teachers. Art history people are people who are like, fuck, I'll figure it out after college, and got it done. They're people with a good vibe. These people are probably all in sales. They're in sales and marketing. They're not in art history. But they just went to college, got it done, and they were a good vibe during it. They were like, yeah, I want to study art, and also I want to party and have a good time. And now I will just get one of the millions of jobs that have nothing to do with college. So shout out art history. Is that what the article says? I don't know. I didn't read it. I'm just telling you it's true. You can read your own articles. You come here for the expert analysis of a guy who understands the vibes of the universe. That's why we're here. It's obvious to me. Okay, wow. Unemployment rate. Undergraduate majors with the highest unemployment rates in the U.S. Anthropology, physics, computer engineering, commercial art, and graphic design. Okay. This makes sense to me. This all makes sense to me. Anthropology. We are studying people, but that's because we don't know how to party. Boom, right there. We don't understand people. We got to study it. You can't study your way into it. It's a vibes thing. Figure it out. Physics. Great. Yeah, we know. The gravity, it's done, folks. We get it. A lot of us know how physics works. Physics people are very smart. Too smart to have jobs a lot of the time. So smart that they're like, this job is beneath me. Is it beneath you? Check physics, fuckface. You're where you are. There's laws of the universe. You should know that better than anyone else. You know too much. You know too much. There's a sweet spot of being fucking stupid that can make you rich in this economy as long as you have a good vibe. That's the missing piece of the entire American college system. Oh my God, they're wasting so much money doing stuff that has nothing to do with their degree. They're vibing. They're learning how to vibe. You go interview at any of these companies. Were they a culture fit? Were they a culture fit? That used to be racism. Now it's just a vibe. Now it's just a vibe check. Which can be racism, but that's not the point. The point is you can't be computer engineering. Guys, you're fucking up. Computers need engineering left, right, and all over the place. Every computer needs engineering. But you probably a little computer bound, potentially a bit of a dork, not as much of a go-getter, want to live in the numbers. Get out there. I would like to be an agent for these people. For these people, the physics and computer engineering people. You are smart. You need to send me in to interview for you. The same way that other people sent you in. Basically, here's the closed loop. Here's what I'm offering. People like me, paid people like you, to take the SATs in high school for them so that they could get into college. And then those people, like me, I didn't do that, actually very good on my SATs, actually smarter than you think, went and had a good time in college, okay, while you continued being very smart, potentially insular, focusing on your things, and all that's very important. You're dialed in, you're locked in, you're focused. I respect that. I respect your focus and your tenacity. But now you need to pay me, people like me, the same way that people like me paid you to take the SAT. You need to pay people like me to interview for you. Yes, it will be shocking when I walk into the interview and I'm like, yeah, my name is Chandrasekhar Arabdahamniman. And they'll say, really? And I'll say, do you want me to call the government? Because you're being disgustingly racist right now. And I will go through the process as that or a Fong Min or whatever, and I will get the job for you, and I will give it back. And day one's going to be tough. Day one, I will have promised to get beers with people after. I will have promised to be a good vibe, and you're going to show up on day one, and they're going to go, that is not who we talk to. And that's okay. It's perfectly fine, because once you get in there and you shine and you do what you can do, they will realize you are way more valuable than I could be to the company. Okay, but we all have our strengths, and we're going to get you in there. It's just funny. People wouldn't assume this, but people just don't understand how shit works, and they're shocked when everything's obvious all the time. I feel like I could do the same episode 50 times. People wouldn't understand. They're not erotic mystics like me. They're just not. Finally today, she was fired for being too attractive, and the court said that's okay. This is a story of Melissa Nelson, who had worked at the same Iowa dental clinic for over a decade. She never showed up late, never slacked off, and was by all accounts the best dental assistant Dr. James Knight had ever hired. Then one day in 2010, she was called into his office. There was a church pastor sitting awkwardly in the corner, and just like that, she was fired. Okay, here's what happened. TLDR is a very long story here. Basically, she worked for this guy for a long time, and she was great. And they had, a relationship. They would text. She never did anything appropriate. She never dressed too revealing. One day, he starts coming into work, and he's like, you better cover up. You better cover up, or we're going to have some problems. Sending her texts like, don't wear any low-cut stuff. You'll know it's too attractive if you can see a bulge in my pants. Dude was doing the old man soft creep. It's a thing they do. It's a thing they do. They get a little bit older and they just start going, there's one woman here all the time. Let me try some fuck shit. Let me lightly try being a creep and then keep pushing it. This guy might have been drunk. He was probably drunk. He continues pushing it here, and eventually she never reports him to HR or anything. She just basically does whatever. Then the wife finds the text messages, and they fire her. And then she sues Iowa for gender discrimination, but she can't win the case because they're like, hey, he didn't fire you because you're a woman. He fired you because you're bringing those fucking sweaty cannons out to lunch in the Denty office, and he wants to lay you back in that banana chair and feed you some of his. That's what the court said. So essentially, she loses the suit, and it's a problem for gender discrimination because it's basically unless she was going to report him for being inappropriate, they can't prove that it's gender discrimination. And the wife is mad because the wife is like, you're going to fuck up my marriage. And he's like, I am going to fuck up this marriage if I don't stop trying to fuck this chick. And the whole problem, as I see it, is that he was the only one in this group of three who was an erotic mystic. And he wasn't able to bring the other two women into the fold. Dr. James Knight was not just a dentist. In my analysis, Dr. James Knight was a traveler, one who communicates with God, one who goes to the other realms. Perhaps he had been to Egypt too. Perhaps it was the god Isis, rebrand. Perhaps it was the god Isis himself who spoke to Dr. James Knight and said, boy, I need you to put a baby in both of these bitches. That's what God said. That's what God told James Knight. And James Knight, who's an erotic mystic, albeit a misled one, did not go to his Mill Valley doctor who could help him get and convince these two women that the three of them need to be together. One of my lights just went out. That's okay. This is what happens when you speak truth to power. Your equipment fails. People freak out. They're not ready for it. That's okay. I'm not worried about it. He didn't go to the right doctor. He didn't go to the right God. He went to a classical God. He went to his pastor who said, hey, lock it up. Okay? Lock it up. You need to be truthful to your wife. You need to submerge your own urge. Meanwhile, he was an erotic mystic all along, and it was his duty to put a baby in both of these women. It's unfortunate Melissa didn't know that, and neither did her husband, who was very upset because she lost her job after not even being creepy with this guy and just being like, dude, what? Like, no. Even Dr. James Knight was like, no, she was never creepy. I was just shooting my shot. But that's the fucking problem with society today. A society that rejects the erotic mystic, a society that rejects the radical monogamy that would have allowed this dentist to bang his receptionist and his wife at the same time and have everyone keep their jobs of being mystics. That's the sad truth, folks, and not everyone's going to understand it, but you will understand it because you here are travelers of the sacred realm of the Joey Show podcast. That has been the show for this week. I am your fearless leader, Joey Avery. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next week. If you're in the Bay, get tickets to that special taping. It's going to be something else. I love you guys. Good night.
Thank God I have a podcast.